Morning, everybody. It is Friday, January 20th, 2017. There's going to be no ads today. I just wanted to say hi and introduce our guest, which is Dave Mayhew. This was an epic podcast, man. I'm really honored that he came on the show, and thanks for opening up so much and sharing. I really enjoyed this conversation. Till next time, peace.
Thrive. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I gotta get on it.
I just love the skating and the scene.
Rain, go away. All I need is a skateboard today.
This is the Shetler Show featuring professional skateboarder, podcaster, and All I Need Skate founder, Anthony Shetler.
So it was hot. Everyone was doing it.
Yeah, they're looking for their dad's fucking metal skateboards in the garage.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Get on this thing.
Each episode brings you amazing discussions with interesting people from all walks of life.
Kind of when skateboarding clicked for me and you learn some tricks or whatever and you get that appreciation from your peers, you know, the other skaters are like, holy shit, like, yeah, dude, that's rad.
Admiration.
Yeah, the admiration or the affirmation.
Real, recognized real.
If I didn't experience those crazy moments in my life, then these great moments would never be as great as they have been.
Honestly, like for me, I just loved it. Like I saw those dudes, I saw those videos, and I was like, holy fuck, this is sick.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do.
Crazy, okay. I was watching you in magazines and videos like you were a god to me. Like I was like, holy shit, Dave Mayhew. Like I had an 18 board and like I obviously had the D3s and like.
That's all good. Yeah, it's funny because like I was listening to some of those other ones and you kept mentioning the maple flame board.
The hot box. It was the
that's where I had it. So I went like digging. I was like, I just got tons of boards and I couldn't find it. I was like, damn it.
Damn, that was the best.
I thought I had it.
Do you know the idea behind that board or no?
I mean, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. I think, if you think about a hot box, it's just like, the dudes that did Maple were some cool dudes. They like to drink and party and stuff. So could be a little bit of everything.
They're like the hot box.
So yeah, there you go.
Cool. And where are we right now, Dave?
I am in Madison, Wisconsin.
Nice. How's it there, man? How long you been there?
So I grew up here, and then I don't know. Are we starting or like?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
All right. No, that's cool. I grew up here, and then moved out to San Diego my senior year of high school. Right after that. And then lived there for 10 years, so I've been back here since like 2004, I think, right in the beginning of 2004.
Nice. So you started skating in Wisconsin, though?
Yep.
What got you into skating?
Definitely my brother. My brother, like, and his crew, they had the whole style thing kind of going, and like, so this is 85, 86, they kick it around and do like hand plants and ho-hos and, just like,
nice.
To me, I was, like, it was sick. And then I started like seeing magazines and it was like, they were kind of doing the same stuff. I was like, man, this is just amazing. Like, it's so cool. And then how it turned out was that Tyrone Olsen used to roll with some of those dudes. And then I met Tyrone, and we're pretty much the same age. So, I've known Tyrone since we were like, I want to say like 14 maybe.
Is he from Wisconsin too?
Yep.
Nice. Sick.
Yep, so he's from Madison, so... Yeah, I mean, Madison, like, my generation and generations before, is pretty rich in, like, skate kind of history.
Yeah, which seems strange because it's like the Midwest, It doesn't seem like there'd be like a skate scene there.
Yeah, no, there definitely was. Like the crew. So I grew up with was like Tyrone, and then Aaron Snyder grew up in Green Bay, but then he moved down to Madison pretty much I think around like 15 or something. So when he moved down with his parents, like he actually had a camera.
Sick.
So me and Tyrone were just like skating around. Just like if we saw a trick in a video, we're like, let's go do it. You know, like instantly it was like download it. You know, just like let's go do it.
That's
and
it.
then Aaron moved down, so then we started like filming stuff. And you know, like eventually that kind of turned into like sponsor me videos and all that shit. And then it just kind of like cascaded from that. You know, it was just like
Is this
people are hyped on.
Sorry to interrupt, but is it VCR? Like this is sponsor me tapes on VCR?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, like the first cameras we filmed with were like VCR cameras.
Nice.
They're like the whole you got to put them on your shoulder and like just like it was crazy.
And like the editing was such a bitch too. Like when I first started making sponsor me tapes too, it was right at the like the VCR VHS tape thing, and that's when I started. And just editing them from like was such a pain in the ass. And then we moved to mini DV, and that was way easy. And now people and kids, they just got it on their phone. They can make fucking whole movies on their phone.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean what we had was like, so you would have, either VHS connected to a VHS.
Yeah.
So then like one would be playing, and then you could like record and pause on the other one, or you just do it straight from your like input, from the camera.
Yeah.
So you'd be playing your tricks on the camera, and then if you wanted that trick in your video, you would like unhit pause so it was recording, and then you would hit pause again after the trick.
Nice.
And then like we had an audio mixer, so you could like put music to it and stuff, but you couldn't like line it up or anything. It was just like music going while the skating was going,
You know what I'm wondering is like, are skateboarders unique in that? I guess like rollerbladers probably made sponsor me tapes, but like other sports and stuff like basketball, soccer, you don't have to like learn to film and edit, right? Like you just try out.
They definitely don't do it themselves. I mean, I think like if you're talking like college football and all that, going to the NFL, they have to do like courses and like they time everything. I forget what it's called, but it's like a scheduled thing.
Oh, like a trial, yeah.
And they do like 100-meter dash or something. It's all timed and all that stuff. But skaters are definitely original, I think, in that sense of like, just making it happen. Like utilizing what you have around you and just going and doing it.
Yeah, which seems to be a really good skill to have in 2017 when like people are just trying to figure out how to like use social media and technology to like build brands and small businesses. It seems like skateboarders are almost like built for that because they have that DIY spirit and like experimented with like digital cameras and VHS and like it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean I think if you're talking as the skateboarder, I think we're just kind of relentless. It's hard to give up on that trick, so therefore it's hard to give up on other things in life. You just gotta. You just keep grinding through it and try to figure things out. And
relentless.
With the internet, with the internet now, you can go find out anything. So
yeah, for sure, you can look up anything. Were you good at? Did you play any other sports?
So I played like soccer and a little bit of basketball, but
Nice.
I'm like 5'6", so I'm not like I just did it, like through middle school and stuff, so
You weren't going for the NBA.
No. So then, that was right when I like started skating. Kind of, I remember basically like riding on our butts on boards,
Hell yeah.
going down hills and stuff, and then pretty much from there, I remember sitting on the sidelines, like trying to learn how to ollie. So like I'd go into the game, kick the ball around, do whatever, coach, come out, and then I'd sit there and like try to ollie like in my cleats, just trying to make it happen, and then like go back in the game, just kind of wild. And then I think the change for me was definitely when I learned how to ollie, and I remember in middle school ollieing some kid's backpack.
Sick.
And it was just like, up to that point, like skaters were kind of like, they're seen as kind of like the outcasts, like, not, I don't know how to word it, I guess, not necessarily outcast, but just like,
They weren't like, it wasn't like,
the unpopular thing,
Yeah, it wasn't as accepted as a sport, for sure. Like when I first started skating, it was like people were kind of like skaters, like they thought you were doing drugs or something, They just didn't know about skating because it wasn't controlled by coaches and shit, I guess.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But this is even like before that. So this is like life's a beach, like clothes and like goofy stuff. It wasn't necessarily like that Hesh kind of like, kind of look. That came like a little bit later. But yeah, no, I just remember doing that and like kids lighting up, like this is crazy, and so for then like going into high school, like I had my first sponsors, like I think I got my first one, I think when I was like almost 16.
Nice. Who was it?
It happened all pretty quick. It was a company called Small Room.
Nice.
So it's out of San Luis Obispo. So,
Which is
just sent them a sponsor me tape, and they were all hyped, and it just kind of.
Is that California?
Yeah.
How did you? You sent them a tape, and they just sent you free product?
Yep.
Nice. Were your parents like tripping? You're getting free stuff in the mail?
Yeah, it's definitely like my parents they're both teachers. My dad is a professor at the UW. He's retired now, but he was a professor, and then my mom was a teacher also. She just passed away, coming up almost on 2 years now. So, but being raised by teachers, like, they were curious of it, but understanding.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like they never like second guessed my choices or anything. It was like they respected everything, and yeah, they were cool with it.
What did they teach?
So my dad is an ESL professor, or was an ESL professor, so English as a second language.
Okay.
And then my mom was a Montessori school teacher.
Which is?
So it's ages like 2.5 through 5.
Whoa, nice. She was nurturing.
So it's kind of like both spectrums, young and then college,
Yeah, and second language too, so they're just trying to learn another language, which is fundamental beginnings. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Did they ever want you to go to school and do that route?
So I actually so in terms of sponsorship, I did the Small Room thing, and then I got on Etnies.
Nice.
And then after that, the Small Room thing kind of faded away, and then we always used to go to this place called Rotation Station, which is in Rockford, Illinois. So it's about like an hour from where we live, and we'd go there, and like so many people would go there, like freaking Danny Mayer and Steve Barrow would come from Nebraska, and then like cats from Chicago would come up, and it was like this super sick indoor place that just everybody went to.
Clutch. Those places are crucial.
Yeah. No, definitely. So then, so we kept making videos, and then I ran into Danny Mayer was skating for H Street.
Nice.
And I think he was kind of the one saw me doing some stuff. I was like, oh man, you should like send a tape in or something. So then I started working on a tape, and it's hard to remember exactly how it all went down, but like it was all about the time when H Street split and like Plan B started one way with Mike Ternansky, and then Tony Magnuson made Evil, which was like, he took some of the dudes and some of the dudes went that way, and I was just like a little skater here, I didn't know like what the heck anything was happening.
Yeah, like none of the politics. You're just like, oh.
Yeah, so I started getting Evil boxes, and like being hyped on them, and yeah, pretty much what happened was just I ended up winning a street contest here, and then flying out to San Diego for the finals. It was like an NSA, so it was like National Skateboard Association. You qualify, and then you take it to the next level. So I remember going there and skating in that with Aaron Snyder and this other dude, Pete Lehman. He was from Madison also. Nice. He rode for Toy Machine for a little bit.
I remember both those guys. Aaron Snyder, they both shredded.
Yeah. Yeah, so then, like, filmed some stuff out there, and then they ended up making a video, and I ended up getting the last part.
What?
And then next thing you know, like, I guess everybody's hyped on it, and then they're just like, oh, we're going to make you pro, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy,
Yeah.
So yeah, I turned pro my senior year of high school.
Did it sink in? Were you like this? Was that like a goal of yours? Was like to turn pro?
You know, definitely not in the beginning.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you know, I want to be a pro skater. Like, it wasn't even a thought until, like, I think once I got my first package, I was just kind of like, oh, like, you know, I felt good skating, and I was just like, maybe, you know, something could happen, you know, I don't know. But at that point, like, skateboarding was in such a downturn, you know?
Yeah.
So literally, like, my first pro checks, so yeah, were $300 a month. So like I moved out to San Diego like and had $300 a month. So like 150 was that, you know, went to rent.
Yeah.
And then like gas money and then trying to like live, you know, eat, like it was just a struggle, you know, just hustling boards out of the back and shoes and stuff, you know, trying to make enough to survive. So.
Yeah, and you're young too. It's like what we did too is we got an apartment with like 5 dudes that were all like, let's do this, and everyone just kicked in, and then but yeah, that's the struggle street for sure.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, I lived in this house. So I ended up going out to San Diego. I don't know if you ever heard of Jarrett Berry.
Yeah, of course, dude. So good at skating too.
So Jarrett was from Chicago, and I knew Jarrett, and he was going to San Diego State University. So he hopped in my car along with one of his friends, and we drove to San Diego, and I lived in a house with Jarrett for the first year.
Sick.
So I remember, like, so it was a 2-bedroom house with 4 people, you know, 2 in each room, and then the garage was made into another kind of bedroom, you know, and that had 2 people. So it's funny how it all happened, because then one of the guys that lived in the garage, this guy Brian Reed, who, you know, we'll probably get into it at some point, but ended up being part owner of Osiris.
Oh, okay. That's crazy. So
but Brian grew up in Laguna Beach, so he knew like Adam McNatt.
Whoa. So
I remember like one of the first mornings I woke up, there was like dudes sleeping on the garage roof, and I'm just like, you know, what the fuck's going on here, dude? Like, this is crazy, you know. And turns out it was Adam McNatt sleeping on our garage roof.
He just got done doing a long 50-50 nollie flip out, and he was like, I need a place to sleep, bro.
Prior to that, but yeah, you know, it's just wild, you know, to like, I mean, you know, you've kind of been through it, you know, coming from the East Coast, like your first time to Cali, and like who you might run into and different things. So it's just like one of those like, you know, holy shit, that's Adam McNatt, and he just slept on our roof, you know. Like, dude,
I fanned out so much on people when I was in California. I probably got made fun of for being too fanboy. It's hard when you're outside because California was like the media center for skateboarding, like for sure. And then when you're out in the Midwest or the East Coast where you have winters and you're like watching all these videos and stuff, and then you go see the people that you've been watching for like months, you're like, these videos are sick. The new 4-in-1, like whatever drops, the Maple video, like all of it. You know what I mean? And then now it's different with the media and skating. You can literally be anywhere, and you have your phone. You can film it, put it online. But for real, that's a real thing. I found out on so many people.
No, I mean that's I don't know. That's one of the crazy things about skateboarding is like, you know, even to this day, like some people are like, "Oh, you're Dave," and I'm just like, "Man, I'm just a skater dude," you know. Like we're all on the same level, you know. Some people have, you know, definitely more like. I guess big-headedness, you know, a little more ego and stuff that go along with it. But in the end, it's just like we're all the same dudes, just trying to like do new tricks and skate and have fun, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask you. This might be too early, but I was gonna ask anyways. Do you feel like you pioneered skateboarding in a way? Like that sounds kind of corny, but to me, like when I was coming up watching videos, you guys were the ones doing it, which is pretty sick. I was like, you guys are the dudes, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Mark about this a lot. Is like we were so, you know, blessed to skate in the time period that we did, you know.
Yeah.
Because you know, my first board basically was a Veriflex. Like we're talking like a big ass like plastic tailbone on the back and like rails and like a nose guard. I think probably weighed like 10 pounds. You know, and so like I saw, you know, we witnessed the whole evolution of like, you know, not only like the boards changing, as far as like rails, no rails, tailbone, no tailbone, and also like seeing the start of like kick noses and switch tricks and like all that stuff. So like to say we pioneered it might not be the best word, but to say like we helped it evolve, but it was already kind of evolving.
Yeah, you're a part of the progression.
Like,
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, like it was sweet to be able to like literally go out and like do something that nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, sick.
You know what I'm saying? Like that feeling is rad. I mean, there's people that still do stuff that people haven't necessarily done before, but it was just evolving at such a fast rate then.
Yeah.
Like it was a fun period to like grow in for sure.
And to watch, because I was like consuming and watching the videos, like all of them. I seriously, 4-on-1s and all the team, every video that comes out, and it was a really fun time to watch skateboarding. You guys did some fun stuff. It was wild.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so.
No, I mean it's crazy. Like my first ad was a Crux Trucks ad. And it was a kickflip, nose slide, and ollie flip on this ledge. It's kind of curved ledge, But like, people didn't really start like flipping in, flipping out until years after that,
Yeah, for sure.
But to us, it just seemed like it just worked,
Yeah.
I think Aaron filmed it, and like, we were just like trying to kill it, just do new shit, and it's just like. You don't even think about it when you're in the process of doing it, it just kind of happens, and then all of a sudden you're just like, wow, like that was kind of like a monumental kind of thing,
Yeah, hell yeah.
So.
There was so many people right there. There's probably so much energy. You guys are all filming and all doing sponsor stuff right in that area?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron was killing it, and Pete was killing it, and Tyrone, was just... He's just off the wall, He's just Tyrone, just going big. And he's just wild.
He's such a character, dude. Tyrone's a fucking character, dude.
Yeah, no, he's a character, but he's like super good-hearted, Like he's just down to skate,
Yeah,
he's still killing it. Like he's still charged.
Yeah. I kind of have this rule. If I see someone that's like on their board a lot, like if I see them skating, I'm like, they're probably doing pretty good in life, because they're like at least making time to skate and like have fun, And I see Tyrone,
for sure.
I see him killing it, still skating out there. Like definitely he has some time on his board. He must session a couple times a week or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah, no, he's got it. He was living back here for a bit, but now he moved back to Cali. But yeah, no, he goes for it, man. He's just skate.
Yeah, he's got fire. He's got the fire.
So then, if we're still talking about Madison, another dude who came from here was Steve Celentani.
No.
Who ended up doing Troubleshooters.
Sick.
I don't know if you've seen, Troubleshooters video.
Yeah.
So yeah, he made that.
That's sick.
So we grew up like filming with Steve, before I moved out. So he was like. He did this other video called Fake Eye, which is like a shop here. He did a Fake Eye video, but it had like I had a full part, like Aaron had a full part, and Pete. So it was like, this is a pretty sick video,
Yeah.
Like, obviously, not at that point in time, like it wasn't put out or anything, but it was like pretty sweet, fun video.
Was there a shop out in Madison?
Yeah, so the shop I skated for first was called California Connection.
Nice.
So yeah, that was just a shop that was like in town. There's 2 shops in town, and one was like a skate shop, more core skate, and the other one was kind of like sailboards and, kind of got into snowboards and stuff, and that, we just stayed with the core skate shop, and he was super cool. You could get a board and like instead of like paying for it, just like work there a little bit.
Nice.
Help clean up or put a board together, or do little stuff, but kind of work off a board. So that was cool.
Yeah. And he shredded?
Pardon me?
Did he skate as well?
No.
That was the core, not. What shop was that?
Yeah. It was called California Connection.
No shit, was it? What?
He didn't really skate. He kind of skated before he had the shop, you know? But, I guess core in the sense that it had just, like, it was just a skate shop.
Yeah, I guess I was just wondering if he skated, because why would he even bother hooking skaters up and like giving them a chance to get boards and like, you know what I mean? Like a business, usually they won't even do that type of stuff. Or I imagine,
Yeah.
like if you have like all these different products you're trying to sell, and it's like it's not like a skate shop, and it's definitely a distinct thing.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it never really dawned on me, you know. Like back then, it never seemed like core and who skated. It was just like, dude had a skate shop. He carried the good stuff.
Yeah.
Sweet. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like this fine line of like, you know, that shop's not core or like any of that. It was just like he was just cool and we just skated, you know.
Yeah, that's sick. There was a shop actually back in the day that me and Westgate rode for, and it was a mom and a dad, and they just ran it out of like what now is like a tanning salon, but then it was like a little strip mall. But like they opened up a skate shop for their kids, but they ran it like a skate shop, not like it was a small business, but they employed like the skaters around them and did cool stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
that shit's so crucial.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, you know, if I've never been that dude. Like, if you don't skate, you can't be a part of skateboarding. You know,
Yeah.
like I think it's open for everybody, and you know, like, you know, even if you look at video dudes, like, do all them skate? You know, like, where are you gonna draw the line? You know?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's a matter of if you're passionate about something. Like people that are passionate about shit, you know what I mean? So people that film, people that paint, people that do art, like all that stuff, designers. There's so many different things. But it's funny, everyone's like, it's so sick when someone skates when they can push.
No, that's dope.
And right now, nowadays, it's sick because Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
No, you kind of cut out.
FaceTime cut out a little bit. Nowadays it's sick too because it seems like everyone's skating. Like so many people that do different things, you know?
Yeah.
I guess we're talking about the
I mean, it's.
Sorry. We're talking about the difference between core and like a core skate shop owned, like a small business versus a large business. That's what I was kind of talking about before.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see the mom and pop doing it for their kids because I have 2 kids, and
Yeah.
you know, if they were into something and you were down with it and wanted to like support it and all that, then like it makes perfect sense, you know.
Yeah, they were going for it. It didn't work, but it was too much. It was like funny because a skate shop is like labor, you know, and it's more than you got to really be interested in skateboarding stuff if you're gonna open up just a skate shop.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a. Yeah, I mean I had my shop for 10 years, and it's definitely like, you know, it's a interesting thing, you know, to kind of do.
I guess we'll go off right here because that's perfect segue into your skate shop. Like, how did that start? I know we're jumping around because like we kind of missed some California stuff, but I'd like to talk about the skate shop because my brother wanted to open one a long time ago.
Yeah, we can bounce around. It's all good.
Yeah, I dreamt of it.
No, like So yeah, I mean, like when I moved back from California, you know, I was kind of like struggling on something to do. And it was kind of crazy because I've kind of always been into art and kind of was trying to get into graphic design.
Nice.
And I went and met, you know, this technical college, went and met with the teacher there and got all lined up in class. And then it was literally like a week before the class started, my appendix wanted out, you know?
Fuck.
So then I'm like, you know, like I literally like went skating that day, came home, and like I was just in the gnarliest pain. You know, so then went to the hospital and, you know, did the whole surgery, got it out and everything. And then, yeah, then the whole, like, school thing kind of fell apart because it was like I couldn't even go.
Yeah.
So then, you know, pretty much dropped out of school.
Peace.
Just because it was, like, not even working. And then,
a busted appendix.
Yeah, and then that time, like, when I, you know, was back, there's skate shops, but none of them really, I felt, carried, like, what the skaters might want or like what, you know, I wanted to push as a skate shop, you know.
Yeah.
So then my old business partner got word of that, so then he hit me up and was like, you know, let's do something.
Sick.
So then yeah, we kind of, you know, figured things out, and you know, we called it Alumni, kind of based off of, you know, Madison's a college town. And I thought it was kind of a sick name because, like, I kind of looked at myself being like an alumni of skateboarding. You know, I kind of went through the whole course, you know, went through the college level, the pro level, and then came out, you know. So it was just kind of like, oh, like alumni, like that felt like me, you know.
It's very fitting.
So yeah, so when I came up with the name, he liked it, and then we just kind of jumped right in and started doing it. So
Had you ever run a business before, prior to that?
you know, not necessarily, you know. Back, when I first turned pro, like, we had to do everything ourselves, you know, like, I had to negotiate my own contracts, kind of, and this and that, so it was like, you kind of were semi-schooled in a business sense, you know?
Yeah.
And I was always kind of like a checks and balance kind of dude, like, you know, making sure I didn't spend more than I was bringing in, all that stuff, so, like, you know, my biggest thing with doing the skate shop was that I knew so many of the dudes that, like, owned companies or worked for companies that I didn't want to like let my past kind of intertwine with like the shop.
Yeah.
Like how I felt about certain companies or what they might have done to my friends or you know what I mean, like all that stuff. So my partner did all the buying.
Nice.
Yeah, so then we opened the doors and kind of like it was an interesting ride, I guess, you know. I mean, I kind of go through it, you know, we started, and, like, from the get-go, you know, in Madison, it was like, okay, like, you're either going to be, like, a snowboard skate shop, you know, or you got to figure out some kind of niche, so we were like, let's do shoes, you know.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's kill it in the shoe game, so then we started, when we opened, we had, like, every brand of shoe, you know, including, like, a Nike, which was like kind of when they just kind of started. It was like a year after they started. So then, you know, like
that probably helped, huh?
Yeah, you know, it's a
because it sells outside of just skateboarding, right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely had like the college kids going after it and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah, and it's
I mean, as you probably know, that whole Nike thing is kind of like a gift and a curse, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, many people have like spoken out about it, and I know Ed Salego. I don't know if you saw his little interview he did about his shop MIA.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories for sure.
Yeah, you know,
and to be fair, not just Nike, there are other brands. I've heard bad stories, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Politics
but Nike
aside.
is the one who, like, really... It's interesting looking back on how it all happened.
Yeah.
Because, our rep was super cool, and, like, he kept saying, you guys are exclusive, this and that, and, like, it makes you want to bring in more products. You're like, oh, we're slanging a good product, like... we can bring in a little bit more because nobody else is going to have it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, now let's see, Zoomies has it.
Yeah.
So then you're like, crap, like they still want you to bring in all those dollars, but it's like you can't really like...
they've kind of cut it into it.
It just keeps digging this hole,
Yeah.
Which in turn, once that hole starts digging, it's like you have less money to spend on other brands,
Yeah.
It kind of soaks up that budget, and then it's just like they keep pouring shoes down your throat, and it's just like, half of them you don't even want or can't even sell,
Yeah.
So it's just like, it just kept like, kind of like, eating us, like just more money, and then they kept, then they went from Zoomies to like, selling online.
Yeah.
Which just kills it, and they still want you to pull your numbers, but you're like, well, all these people can get these shoes so many different places.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's everywhere.
Their whole way to catch you was like quick strikes, like, well, we'll get you some quick strikes to like help offset you picking up some of these other shoes, So the quick strikes, were the limited edition ones.
Yeah.
And we would, slang those for like, 3 or 4 times what they were worth. Just because people would line up and buy them, and it was just crazy,
Yeah, and you gotta pick up the money, because it makes it tough in a relationship like that when you have like when you start like that and then they blow it out, and then it's like, now where do we go? Seems like there should be a safety net, a resolution in that, because you wouldn't want to hurt the shops that got you into skateboarding. Like skateboard shops started, they build a community.
Yeah, I mean that's where it really gets weird because like, I know some people that ride for Nike, and I'm not trying to diss anybody, but like the way they're running their business is from a corporate standpoint, and it's like they'll send you to collections, they send us to collections, and it's like, they would eat you alive,
Yeah.
and go to the next shop because it don't matter, like,
Yeah.
that's the feeling I got. And as like my business partner and I started kind of like, veering away at the end because it was just like more Nike, more debt. But the only way to pay off your debt was to get more Nikes. You know what I mean?
Sorry to laugh.
It's such a like it's
like
such a trap, like
dope fiend.
So it's, but like, also in respect to Nike, like the kids were coming in and that's what they wanted.
And they do make like a lot.
Like,
they do do a lot.
When we first did our shoe wall, like we had tons of brands,
Yeah.
Are we good?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and you know what's tough too is like Nike does hook up, like they have the money to buy all these amazing, not to buy them, but to employ and give these people opportunity in skating. Like they have a skate program, they have the SB and all that stuff, so they contribute to the culture. But it's just kind of tough on the core shops that have built the culture. That's the struggle that I'm like, that's the debate, the heart of the debates right there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I was saying, looking back on it and seeing how things happen is like, the way they went about it was pretty interesting. Like they would, sponsor kids, and like there's like 3 kids on our shop that were sponsored by Nike.
Yeah.
They'd send them like 3 or 4 pairs of shoes, and then the kids see them wearing the Nike, so they want them. But then those kids would also give a pair to a homie or like sell a pair. So then you get one box going out with 3 pairs or 4 pairs of shoes, and it's like your skater's wearing it, he's giving it to somebody else, and then maybe selling to somebody else. So like you end up with like 3 or 4 people rocking Nike out of one box,
Yeah, crazy.
And it's like they just kind of flooded the market with it,
Yeah. Tough, man.
But I mean, like you got to respect it. I mean, it's a hustle, like they came into it and like kind of took it over,
Well, they have a system.
Like
they have like a system. They've gone through like almost every genre of sports, and they have a history and legacy, and like they built a system that like apparently works, But
yeah.
it's kind of sounds like it's a little ruthless.
Yeah, it's very ruthless. But it depends on which side you're on, I guess. Being a shop owner, like you start to see things kind of like add up or not add up, and it's just like, I remember telling my partner, I was like, dude, we gotta chill out on the Nikes, and he's just like, basically like, we gotta keep them to like pay off our bills.
Yeah.
Because like people weren't coming in and buying, your, Americas or whatever, like they weren't coming in and like buying them. They wanted the other shoes, so it was kind of hard to like figure your way out,
How does that end
Yeah.
up with Nike? Do you guys, what happened there?
Well, me and my partner split, so I sold my half of the shop.
Oh, okay.
Because, for me, I worked on the Madison skate park for like 10 years.
Nice.
So we finally got that built a couple of years ago, and we relocated the shop right next to the skate park because I was like, I think from hearing what you've said in the past, you're about the kids and doing lessons. And
Hell
like,
yeah.
promoting like a positive side of skateboarding, which I was all about. And it turned out that my business partner thought it was like a terrible idea.
Oh man, that's definitely not a bad idea.
He just kind of flipped, and put me in this weird predicament where like I'm at home with the kids. I'm a stay-home dad.
Yeah.
So like, I respect him. He was at the shop dealing with everything, but I wasn't making any money because I wasn't working. It was just kind of like I'll stay home with the kids, and you just keep the shop going.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as the park got built, and I was like working with the city on doing like skate camps and all this stuff, he literally texted me out of nowhere and was just like, "You want to sell your half of the shop?"
Oh man.
You know what I mean? Like 10 years we were in business, and he just texted me like this shit. And
Yeah,
I was like,
that's rough. That's
I had to
rough.
like triple take my phone. I was just like, what in the hell? You know, like
I've had those
at
moments.
first I was like, get some balls and like say it to my face or something. You know, like
For real.
texted me. I'm just like, what in the hell? But you know, so he did, and then you know we went back and forth, and he was just like. He just kept saying, you know, it's a bad look for the shop. It's a bad look for the shop. Like,
Wait, working at doing skate camps and like building a skate park and like being part of that shit is what he's saying. It's a bad look.
Yeah.
That's the physical act of like coming together and skateboarding.
I mean, yeah. Trust me, trust me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we butted heads on it over and over and over, and like he's just very hard headed.
Yeah.
You know, and like. He doesn't skate anymore. He's just like a critic, you know. He like judges everything, and I'm just like, you're not even out there like skating with the kids, you know. Like
Yeah, you can call it lame if you're out there next to him. You can try it, you know, like.
Yeah, you know, and so that was just a big breaking point with me, you know. And then he wanted to get me out, and you know, finally we just kind of worked it out, and you know, the more I like researched, you know, our splitting up and debt and assets and all that stuff, like we were in the hole with Nike like crazy.
Yeah, gnarly.
I mean, like tens of thousands of dollars, you know.
Yeah.
Like, ridiculous. And I was just like, I saw this sinking ship. I'm just like, I gotta get off this, you know. Like if you want to buy me out, let's do it. I'm gone. Like
Nice.
You know, so yeah, you know, I did that. And now, you know, it's kind of weird because I see, you know, kids still rocking alumni stuff, and you know, I don't know. For the most, it kind of makes me laugh because it's like that whole premise was kind of based on me.
Yeah, the alumni.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I kind of laugh like when I see the dudes wearing them, but they're all cool. You know, it is what it is. You know, like.
Yeah. It's tough.
The funny side of it is like one of our employees. So we had two employees, and one was more on my side. He was like a super good skater and like was all hyped on doing skate camps, and the other dude barely skates, and like he was more with my business partner. He was just like, you know,
yeah,
kind of like no opinion, basically, like, you know, almost like a robot, like, I'll go with this guy, you know.
Yeah.
So pretty much, yeah, which was funny because then right before we parted ways, my business partner fired my friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, without even telling me. And then, you know, fast forward like a couple months later, we walked into this other shop in Madison called Freedom, and was talking to the owner, and he was just kind of like asking me what went on with my shop, and I was filling him in, and then, you know, he just got real quiet. He's like, I'm thinking of closing the doors. He's like, I got to do something different. So then my friend Jeff was like, you know, let's talk. So now my friend Jeff bought Freedom.
Really?
So he's got it lined up now. So he's like ripping, and like he's got it all planned out with the city to do skate camps and all this shit. So
yes.
He's doing, you know, the right stuff, you know, like he's going to create a new generation of dudes and girls or whatever that want to like skate and want to support what he's doing, you know?
Yeah, someone's got to build it. Someone with the fire's got to build it and carry it over so people can contribute and be a part of it. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, so he's hyped, and you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, will you skate for his shop?
Oh yeah, I already do.
Nice, alright, sick.
I rep it. He's my homie, dude. He kills it, you know?
What
what
were you doing with the city to get the park? Were you just like, did you help with the design aspects, or did you do the?
So we went through the whole process of getting the land, raising the money, you know, like turbulence with you know, our political governor. And we went through the whole like recall and all that stuff. And,
Jesus.
Like, So we had there was periods where we were making good progress, and then it would be slow for a year or two, and then move fast, and then slow down again. So the whole thing took about 10 years to get,
Yeah.
So yeah, we did the fundraising. Our group, worked relentlessly and got money from the county and the city and Tony
Nice.
Hawk Foundation and a co-op store here in town, and
Nice.
really worked it and hustled. And I think eventually we got over $1 million
Wow.
raised, which is in a pretty quick time. Once we started really doing it, it's boom, boom, boom. So,
Wow.
yeah, two of the dudes just really worked hard and just did a great job.
What'd you guys end up with? Is it an awesome skate park?
Yeah, I mean it's a plaza with kind of a flow bowl and then a full on, we call it the eggplant bowl,
Sick.
because kind of so the co-op paid for the bowl, so their logo is an eggplant.
Oh, perfect.
So it made kind of an eggplant-ish kind of bowl. So
Sounds fun to skate, like the shape.
yeah, no, it's straight. No, the park's sick. It's got a little bit of everything. Different size ledges and mani pads and hips and rails, and Canton Russell actually designed it.
Yes, Canton helped us. Canton and Stantec helped us out here in Boston. They got our park built as well.
Yeah.
Shit's so sick.
Yeah, it's sick because me and Canton travel all the world together, so he'd come and crash at my house, have a good time, and work on the park and all that stuff. So it was a good time, man.
Damn, that's so sick. Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even remember you guys. I didn't even think that you guys were skating together on Osiris. Did you get to travel the world with Osiris?
Yeah, I mean, the hot spots always come and go in skateboarding. When we were doing it, Europe was pretty much the hot spot.
Yeah.
And we did several trips to Japan and Canada and all that stuff. But nowadays it's even I mean, dude, people go all over the world. It's just grown so much. China and
Were you guys doing demo trips, or were they street skating?
I mean, we did some pretty gnarly Osiris tours. So the whole Osiris thing was really grassroots, I think somebody else you interviewed kind of talked about the first tour we did was 16 passenger vans. We had 2 of them, and then we had U-Hauls with all the ramps shoved in them,
Yes.
So this was literally we go anywhere. We set up the ramps, skate them, drive to the next spot, try to crash, set them up, skate them. It was just it was gnarly,
You guys did the work, though. That's the work to get it done.
But that's what's funny, because that was the beginning, and just hustled and promoted it and all that stuff, and eventually it just kind of caught on,
I feel like the skaters, the fire, the skating of the people on the team and the personalities and all that stuff, it really, because you guys did all the demos and made it feel like a live action thing, I don't know. You guys definitely helped do that.
It was kind of circus-ish, but at the same time, it was kind of fun,
Yeah.
It was just an adventure, Every tour has its ups and downs, but at that point, so Osiris first started with, it was me, Tyrone, Gershon Mosley, and Adam McNabb.
Heavy.
That was the OG first team,
Yeah, gnarly.
And then it obviously evolved from there, but
It got even heavier. That's what happened.
well, that's where it gets into the whole story. So fast forward, like I was telling you, my friend Brian Reed. So, I was still skating. I skated for Etnies and then America.
Nice.
And then I kind of quit America. I was in this shoe flux because I'd filmed the part for Etnies High Five, and then I filmed the part for the America Yellow video.
Yes, sick.
So then there's just no money, I would travel around and see shops with all these shoes, and I'm just this doesn't add up, You're nobody on the team was making money.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the whole reason I think like DC started, and then like Osiris started, and there was like DVS and Castell, and you know, like there's just like a whole, you know, just flush of like new shoe companies.
Yeah.
So I think people started realizing like, damn, like there's a lot of money in shoes, you know, like. You know what I'm saying though? Like,
yeah.
Cause, you know, I remember like going to Don Brown, and I was like, you know, I was like, it was like a trade show or something. I was like, you know, can I get $20 or something? Like, I just want to get some food. And like, I don't know if you ever met Dom, but he's just kind of goofy, and I'm like, you know, just kind of like almost talked me out of the $20. You know? And like, you know, I was just kind of like, dang, you know, like, you know, product's cool, but that's just advertisement, you know?
Yeah.
So then, yeah, it's kind of the whole way Osiris started with Brian was work. I introduced him, you know, back in the day to all the people at Evil.
Yeah.
And, you know, a couple of years later, when I had quit America, they were starting Evil Shoes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I remember Brian came to me. He's like, dude, ride for Evil Shoes. Like, hell no. I was like, I already quit Evil Skateboards. You know? Like, I'm not going back. Like, you know. So literally, like, okay. Then everybody wanted to scrap Evil Shoes and come up. That's when we came up with Osiris and the logo and everything.
Perfect.
And you know, then people were more down. You know.
Yeah, they got really down too. People love those things, man. The fucking D3.
Well, the catch was that, so fast forward maybe like a year or two, something like that, like Brian called me and was just like, dude, you're not even gonna fucking believe it. And I'm just like, what? You know, like, tell me. So he said he went in and trademarked the Osiris logo and the Osiris shoes name.
Wow.
But nobody had trademarked it.
Wow, that's crazy.
So people had spent, you know, millions of dollars starting a shoe company and all this stuff, and nobody trademarked it.
That's insane.
So Brian pretty much walked in, was like, well, you know, either you guys start a whole new shoe company or I'm part owner.
Fair enough, right?
You know what I'm saying? So then that's what really, like, that's what catapulted, like, everybody being down, you know?
Yeah.
Brian was like a skater dude, you know?
Yeah, he's on.
So, like, once that happened, I felt it was like, yeah, you know, like, we had somebody on our side. Like, T-Mag is, you know, he's a skater, but he's also shady and just, you know, just shady.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, basically. I mean, most people in the skateboard industry kind of know that. But, like, yeah, you know, once Brian was there and, like, he was doing, like, the shoe design, and it was easier for, like, you know, people to reach out and, like, you know, get Smolik on and get Jerry Sue on. And,
sick.
All the people just started, like, coming, you know?
Fuck yeah.
Because, like, you know, it was growing, there was money, and it was just like, come and join it, you know? And that's kind of how it all started kind of going, you know, going the right direction.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, going to the D3 and all that stuff, I'm sure, you know, like, that's a whole nother...
Well, let's get to it, because let's just go to the D3. First, let me say first that I liked it, and I'm on tape. I'm recording this. I had pairs, and I was hyped on it when I was, but then I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't know what was good and what was bad, and I still don't, I think. And then second, did you design it? It was your thing?
So yes.
Nice.
So it's funny because, like, there's so many different stories behind it and all this shit. And, like, it was just, like, a couple years ago, like, Mark was coming from, like, Minneapolis to Chicago or something and hit me up. He's like, oh, you know, we'll take you out for dinner. So it was like Mark, I think, Rick Howard, Guy Mariano, and Mike Moe.
Heavy.
So we all go out to eat, and they're just, like, drilling me with D3 questions.
You're in the firing line.
Yeah, I was just like, what the hell? And, you know, like, I don't know if it was Guy or Rick or somebody was just like, you know, is it true that you just walked into a meeting late and that was, like, the last shoe that was left and you just, like, got stuck with it? I was like, no, dude. Like, I honestly came up with the design and the concept for it And the whole way I did it was like, so prior to that, we did like design by shoes. So you'd kind of like help design, and like for me, like I never felt like I necessarily deserved like a pro shoe.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, like there's a couple people that had pro shoes. You know, it wasn't like now. You know, like so many people have pro shoes. It's hard to even like tell who doesn't. You know.
Yeah.
But like at that point, I was like, I remember like they wanted me to have a pro shoe, and I was like, so I designed 2 shoes prior to that. That I was just like, you know, we'll just call it design by. I don't want it to be, you know, because it just put you on that level, you know.
Yeah.
And so then that's where it gets the D is for Dave.
Nice.
And the 3 is for my third shoe design.
Nice, crushing it.
It was the D3.
Dope.
You know, so like, but the whole way I came up with it was I'd been on some like gnarly tour, like a month-long tour, and I remember I came back and like chucked my board. You know how it is when you come home, you're just like so tired of it all, and I was just like, then I went to the mall and I was like at it's like Sports Authority. I don't even know if they have those anymore, but it's like a I don't know, sporting store, you know?
Yeah, like a family footwear for sports.
Yeah, you know, and I was just scoping out shoes, and I seen this hiking boot that had like these lace loops in it.
Nice.
Just at the top, it was just one loop, and I was like sitting there tripping out, and I was like, man, I'd be sick if you somehow like made it like come down the side and like, but made it kind of like cool looking, you know?
Yeah.
And that was another thing, like, you know, going on tour, like every shoe wall kind of looked the same.
Yeah.
You know, all the shoes, just none of them just like jumped out at you, and I was like, this is my chance. I was like, I'm gonna do something freaking bonkers. Like,
Nice.
people either love it or hate it, you know?
Fuck yeah, go for it. If you're gonna
So
do
it's
it.
just like, yeah, you know, so I just, you know, originally I called Brian and like told him my idea, and he designed some shoe based off what I kind of told him, and it was totally wrong, you know? He missed the whole, like, the whole idea, but they still went with that shoe anyway and sold that shoe.
Nice.
You know, so like, so then I actually got in there with him and kind of showed him what I was talking about. And
So technically it was the D4 then. It was a D4.
yeah, I mean, that was a phone. Yeah, I mean that was a phone call, but yeah, you know. So yeah, man, you know, came up with the design, and you know, like, love it or hate it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Like, you know,
Nice.
it was a insane ride to be on, because like I went from, you know, the first trade show they took it to, everybody was like, oh man, that shoe sucks, it's lame, you know, this and that.
Were you like,
fast forward,
what were you like then? Were you just like, fuck, man? What was your
what,
mood?
honestly, like, we were just skating so much, you know, like we were just skating and skating, like it just didn't even, you know, it didn't even, like, I don't even know if anybody told me.
Yeah.
You know, at that time, it was just like, but then, you know, fast forward 6 months later to the next trade show, and like, I had shop owners like pulling me aside, like, can you get me more pairs? Like, they say they're sold out,
What?
and I want some, and it just like turned to like this crazy, you know, like thing where everybody wanted that shoe.
That's sick.
I mean, you could go to any small little hick town and like somebody be rocking D3s.
Dude, they're everywhere.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like insane. It was, like, so like I only wore them maybe for like 7 months or something, and then it was just too nuts. Like, I was like, I don't want to be the dude who thinks I'm that dude wearing the shoes. You know?
You bailed out.
Somewhat, yeah.
Nice. Financially, I know people probably think you made $1 bazillion, but did you make enough that it helped your life out?
Oh no, I mean, there's so many topics to hit on this one, because you know, basically, you know, I made good money. You know, I'm very thankful for that. You know, they never paid me what I should have got paid.
Fair enough.
You know, which, like, basically, I think, like, in the small world we live in, you know, everything kind of happens for a reason. Now it's like they screwed a couple people over, and now look at their company.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're struggling to even, like, stay alive. So to me, it's just like, you know, things happen, and this is where you sit, you know.
Yeah, there's like actions and reactions.
I was pissed, you know. I mean, basically, I was riding for Enjoy at the time, you know, and like that was going pretty good, and then my shoe was still going good, and this filmer, who's got Mark Nichols, hits me up. He's like, "Dude, Osiris just put a press release out that you're off the team."
You got kicked off without even you didn't even get a text message this time.
No text message. You know, so it's like,
fuck me, right?
Yeah, just like what am I doing wrong? You know, but looking back at it, I think like it was making so much money that it just wanted me out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like all those shady dudes that worked there, just like, you know, they were pocketing money, and from what I heard, they were like in China, wherever where the shoes were being made, they were saying like that the shoes would cost Osiris $7, but in real life it cost $5, and they'd pocket $2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they were like playing off the company making money, and my shoe was like the one that was making all the money. So they were just like bankrolling off me.
Yeah, not good.
And like that was where T-Mag was like pocketing all this money and all this stuff, you know. And it's just like it's just shadiness, you know.
Yeah, bad business practice will get the results they'll get, you know. Like the truth is in the results, you know. Yeah. It's so hard to run a business. Like, to run a business and to grow a business is so hard that it has to be fair, and people that build it have to have equal share, you know, or like have an investment in it, you know, like.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It's so hard. So like, you know, when shit like that happens, it happens. It does happen.
I mean, to me, like the companies, and it's funny because now companies are trying to like show their skate history and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, S is putting out, like, the Sal 23s and all that stuff. And, like, Nike, you know, is, like, showing old pictures of Lance, like, wearing Nikes. And, you know, everybody's trying to show, like, this history. Like, we've been here, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, it's funny because, like, so just recently, this all just happened. So my friend Brian, I was talking to somebody, and they're like, oh, you know, I haven't talked to him in, like, 10 years.
Yeah.
So, like, somebody told me he just was in this gnarly bicycling accident, you know, and, like, basically was, like, paralyzed or something. So I'm just like, man, I got to call him. Like, you know, we lived together for a year, and, you know, like, when I messed my ankle up, I slept in his kitchen. Like, we had a good history, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, called him up, and we're just rapping, and, you know, he's not paralyzed or anything, but he's, like, in daily pain.
Yeah.
You know, from something that happened. But it's funny because, like, just recently, I don't know if you know, but, like, he kept telling me, like, you know, how can we right or wrong and all this stuff, like, with Osiris. And I was just like, dude, I don't think you can, you know?
Yeah.
And he just kind of kept pushing it. And then, like, more and more people are, like, tagging me with D3 shit on, like, Instagram and, like, oh, there's just like all this chatter coming about it, you know?
Yeah.
And then one of the dudes from Baker had like a D3 on his board.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, like, and so like it just feels like it follows me, you know? I'm just like, so people are texting me like, congratulations, dude, and all stuff. I'm just like, for what, you know? Like, what the hell's going on? So eventually, like, you know, I'm talking to Brian. I'm like, dude, all these people fucking think I'm so associated with a shoe. And I'm still making money that I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, so, like, finally I was just like, okay, like, we can talk. Like, what's up?
Fair enough.
So then there was talk of doing, like, a Sweet 16 D3 shoe release, you know? Which would have been coming up. And then, like, you know, recently, like, Smolik is back on, and Tyrone's back on, like, repping Osiris. And they want to do this, like, Storm package.
Nice.
You know? But, like, for me... They're still selling my shoes. They've sold my shoes since they kicked me off.
Gnarly.
You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, like, it had to have, like, a value to it, you know?
Yeah.
Because you know, people know I hate the company and all that shit. So it's like, okay, if we're going to do this, it has to be worth it, you know?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So finally, like, they hit me back with some numbers, and it was just, like, pennies.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I'm not doing that. You know, like fuck this. You know.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like when me and my wife and we took the kids out to Cali and like actually went there and met with them and like sat in a room with T Mag and Brian, this other dude, like they were all they all like part owners of Osiris and like they're just so clueless. They're just like, Dave, man, like where did you go? Like what's up, dude? And it's just like you guys like pretty much kicked me off the team.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh man, like, like I don't remember it happening like that. I'm just like, well, that's how it happened, And like, T Mag's trying to say that like other riders were coming to him saying like Dave's making too much money and we want more money and all this stuff. So he was claiming he was like taking my money and giving it to other people, and all this shit. I'm just like, this is just the worst business ever.
Yeah, that's very bad.
Like it's just so long story short, as you can see, I'm down with the S.
Hell yeah.
Like that's kind of what I'm repping right now in my shoe department.
Nice, that's sick.
But like, yeah, it was quite a weird little unexpected scenario,
Yeah, crazy, man, crazy.
And yeah, I mean, the whole D3 thing, it's just freaking crazy.
It's a legacy. It's like a story, It's like a famous skate story. It's like a legendary story. The D3, dude.
It is, because like even kids like these days know about it,
Yeah, it's on board.
It's like,
someone put it on a board, dude.
Yeah, and it's
put a shoe on a board.
But you know how funny it is that we sat down and designed that shoe I think in '97. So literally like it's 20 years old.
Yeah, crazy.
The original D3. So I know that you've designed shoes or have your name on a shoe, So it's like, what if that shoe
carries that far?
You spent that like 1 or 2 days designing, turned into this like crazy huge phenomenon, Like it wasn't expected. We just were like making a shoe, and it just like the downside of it was that people started treating me differently,
How so?
Well, just like, I mean, I feel like you respect my skating.
Hell yeah, dude.
Where other people like would go to the shoe before my skating.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about like that's the dude who designed D3, and not like that's the dude that did like some good skate shit,
Yeah, like try to turn it into a joke instead of like, hey, I know him because he skates. Yeah.
Yeah, so that aspect kind of bummed me out because first and foremost, like, I'm very passionate about skateboarding.
Yeah.
And I wanted, once I had that platform, I wanted my skate shit to like be what spoke for me, and like I don't know to say like legacy, but just like that was Mayhew, like he did this and that,
Yeah, it's your life efforts applied. Like you don't like in skating, like everything I've ever gotten from skating, I've had to work so hard for. Like nothing, like to get as far as you have in skating, you have to work incredibly hard and jump through hoops and get lucky as fuck. Like,
it's crazy.
So to me, that's why legacy. It's like a strong word, but like if it's it's your life effort applied to something that you love and cherish and hung on to, especially something like a skateboard that's like. People just being an adult skateboarding used to be a weird thing to people.
Yeah.
I'm 34. So, like, I still skateboard. Let's do it.
I always get more hyped when like I meet people and they'll be like, "Oh, your part in this was sick," or you know what I mean? Like you did that trick, or you were the first one to do that, or like I get more hyped off that than like, that's the dude that designed the G3,
Yeah.
So like, it's always hit or miss when I meet people, like. What are they gonna like know about me, or like like
they're gonna be
go down,
they're gonna come up and be pissed at you because they just hate the D3 so much. They're just very passionate sneakerhead and they want to fight you. And you're like, what the fuck? I've seen message board shit. It's pretty ruthless. I bet the D3 message board stuff. Is there any like on YouTube or anything? Have you looked at the comments for your shoes?
Honestly,
Yeah.
you know, like I know, like Osiris is like, you know, when this whole thing was going down, I started following him like Instagram. They would like post D3 stuff, and like it was like 50-50, you know. A lot of people are hyped, a lot of people are like, what the fuck is that? It's the wackest shoe ever, you know. And it's just like, for me, the funny thing is it's like I actually did design the shoe, so like, it's hard not to take it like a little bit personal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's not bad to be polarizing. You're polarizing.
No, it's, you know.
But yeah.
I can't change something that happened 20 years ago. You know, like it is what it is. Like I can't do anything about it. But like, no, I mean it's comedy. You know, everybody's the critic on social media, so
At least they feel some way. That's like the best part. When someone feels some way, that's awesome.
feel something.
All right, big question. Big question now, Dave. If you get another chance, if it happens, are you gonna go that same route for the D5? Would you just?
No, I'm not. I'm officially pretty much done with. Well, I don't know.
Maybe.
I guess, I mean, are you saying in terms with Osiris? Like, I'm done with him.
No, like if the opportunity presented,
Deal with him.
if the opportunity presented itself, where someone was like, "Hey, here's some money. It's a fair amount for your input and design and a legit business." What would you do? What would your route be? Like, would you do the same thing you did for the D3, or would you sit down and like, what would you do?
I mean, if somebody came at me with money and said, like design a shoe?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, who the hell wouldn't?
Would you do the same? Would you flip a coin? Like, because it seemed like you went in, you saw something, you drew it all down. Would you the same thing again? Or would you go for reminiscing of the D3? Would it be similar?
Well, I feel like the only way to like make something that's gonna stand out is just taking a risk, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you design a shoe that like, you know, looks like everything else, then the odds are it's not gonna be like this crazy. I mean, look at like a lot of people compare my shoe to like a Stefan Janowski, you know, like it wasn't a shoe that Nike typically makes, you know?
Yeah.
And they made that and just blew up, you know?
Yeah.
So like you know, I don't know, I think it's just like you just gotta get really lucky, you know, like in terms of like how it all works. Like,
Sick.
you know?
I think it's.
You don't even know, dude.
I think it's awesome that you designed the D3, man. It's awesome, and I actually.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And whatever you did, and when I was a kid, like I liked the shoe, dude. I don't know if I liked it because you're skating or because I really liked the shoe. I was too young to really realize. I don't even remember if I was just that high. But I've always defended the D3 to this day. Whenever someone says something, I'll throw like, I had them. I liked them. All the time.
yeah.
It's awesome.
The thing is like when people, you know, talk shit, they're kind of comparing it to today's shoes, you know.
Yeah.
And like it's not a today's shoe. It was a shoe designed 20 years ago, like where every single shoe was big and puffy.
I had some
You know,
Castells.
like, if you try to compare it to what?
I had some Castells too that were like big, puffy, like that same
yeah, I mean,
shit.
that's
Yeah.
how every single shoe was, you know, like so to compare it, like say it's whack, is just like it's comedy because you know you're comparing to something nowadays where there's like 20 more years of technological advancement in like shoes, like of course it's gonna be kind of like goofy.
Yeah.
You know.
Not to me, bro. I'm putting them back on.
I hope they don't sell anymore.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, hold on real quick. I need to find my pen real quick. Do you have a Tyrone Olsen story? Something you can share? That's
Tyrone Olsen story?
Yeah, just any crazy.
Man, I don't even know where to begin with the Tyrone story, man.
Has he always been like full of energy and just the dude that will talk to anybody? Like I'm trying to like I've only seen him from an outside perspective, and he's always seems full of energy and a little reckless, and like at times, and then other times super nice, respectful. Like I don't know him like that well, but he seems like a larger than life type of dude, you know? It's Tyrone Olsen,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one time, so like Osiris was just kind of like starting off. It was kind of a funny story, but like,
Nice.
you know, like we were just starting to kind of like make some, you know, decent money,
Nice.
you know, and you know, I remember like going to his house or his apartment or whatever, and like telling him like, dude, you're making more money, like you gotta pay taxes on this shit. It's unearned income, like it's all royalties, like you gotta save some money, you know. And he was just, you know, like what's gonna happen, like if I don't? And I was just like, people will come and take your car.
Yep.
And people will come, and he just like, I think he pulled out a gun and was just like, you know, nobody's taking my shit.
Oh my god.
And I was just kind of like, dude, like you'll just go to jail then to prison. I was like, what are you thinking, dude?
Tough breaks.
You know, like because he would take the crew out, like he would go to like the steakhouse with like 15 dudes and everybody eat, and like he'd pick up the tab, you know.
Yeah, heavy.
Which in hindsight is like, you know, if you're making, you know, $1 million a month, like yeah, you can afford to do that. But when you're like, you know, barely like making it by that, and on top of that, you gotta pay all these taxes, like
Yeah.
it's not the smartest thing, you know.
Yeah, definitely not. You could live that way. It's not fully sustainable unless you're like rock star. Unless you're like Britney
Yeah, I
Spears.
mean, if you're like making, you know, a good 10-20 million a year or something, you can like take your homies out and like have a good night, you know.
Live on tour.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, not really. A gun though. Were you say it casually? People having guns.
I mean, I don't know, dude.
Is what it is.
I don't have a gun. You know, like
Nice.
it is what it is. Sometimes it's better not to ask questions.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, let me check these off. I want to make sure I covered everything. Nice. Skate. How much you skate nowadays?
Well, it's winter right now, so like typically during winter, I gotta drive like an hour to Milwaukee to like go to an indoor skate park because Madison doesn't have one.
What's the Milwaukee one?
Cream City.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty sick place.
Yeah.
So like I gotta drive, you know, an hour to get there to skate, but it's kind of hard. You know, my wife works long, hard hours, and the kids and everything. So it's like I gotta line up the stars to like get out and go skate. You know.
Yeah. How much do you guys get hammered with snow this year?
We have, but then it's been warm at the same point. You know.
Yeah. Same
It's
here.
been rainy and warm, and then it'll get some snow, and then it's like a week of like sub-zero temperatures, you know, like negatives, and then it's like I think tomorrow is supposed to be almost 40.
Yeah.
You know, so
Same here. Same shit.
it's kind of wild.
We haven't
Well, I
got.
mean, you guys get what we, you know, kind of heads your way, you know.
Yeah, we had one snowstorm so far that I had to shovel like 2-3 times throughout the day or whatever just to keep up with it, not to get buried at the front of the driveway like I had to go down there. But I had help this year, or so far. My brother's been staying with me and my other buddy Jeff, and they were helping me out. It's so much easier when you got help. For real.
Yeah. That's for sure.
My neighbor's got a snowblower, and sometimes when he's out, he'll come over and snowblow it, the beginning of ours for us, because we're the plow pushes. And that helps a lot.
That's sick.
That's cool. You said you had... How many kids do you have?
2.
2.
So I got a little boy who just turned 5 yesterday.
Nice.
And then a little girl, she's 2.5.
Oh, you got a boy and a girl. That's rad.
Yep.
Did you ever Did you ever plan to be a father, or did you ever think you'd be a father?
Yeah, I definitely kind of wanted to, you know.
Whoa, sick.
I think, you know, like... Yeah, I don't know. I always wanted to. So then, you know, me and my wife got together, and then, you know, a couple years later.
I know what happens.
You just, like, fast forward, you're just like, damn, like, you lay down at night, you're like, we got 2 freaking kids. Like, it's just wild, dude. Like, you know, there's still that hard stage, you know, like, she'll, like, spaz out and cry, and you're just like all tonight, like, she got out of the bath and just like cried, and it's just like headache, you know. It's just like, oh my god.
There's nothing you can do but ride it out. You just ride it out.
Yeah, you know. So. But it's pretty sweet, man. I consider myself pretty lucky because, you know, a lot of dads don't get the opportunity to spend much time with their kids.
Yeah.
Typically. So like, I feel doing the whole pro skating thing, and then now doing the stay-at-home dad thing. It's just like two things that not many people get to live.
Yeah. It sounds sick.
So like, it's definitely a challenge and all, but like it's fun.
Yeah.
And we definitely have an awesome bond. So it's kind of like being a kid all over again. My little boy is like super into Legos, so it's
sick.
Like, he just builds Legos, and he's always like, Daddy build a plow, or Daddy build this. So it's like we're just sitting there playing Legos. It's like shit I did when I was little. So it's fun.
Nice. Do you guys ever do the Minecraft video games?
He literally just the other day like started building this thing. So he started doing Legos, the little Legos. He'd follow instructions when he was like 2.5.
Nice.
Like he's like that calm and like well mannered that he would like flip the pages, find the pieces, put them on, all that shit. Like
crushing.
I don't know if you're too familiar with kids, but like most 2.5-year-olds don't do that, let alone like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
So like, the other day he was building something, and I was just like, oh, what he building? He's like, Minecraft. I was just like, how the hell does he know what Minecraft is? He's like, YouTube.
Sick.
Like, cause he sits there and watches like YouTube Lego videos,
Sick.
So like he saw some Minecraft things, and then he was building Minecraft Legos. I was like,
dude,
I guess we're changing.
Yeah, it's intense. Every little kid I see that's on their phone, I ask them what they're doing, because at the skate park and like some of my cousins have kids, and I will go over there and I just ask them about Minecraft the whole time, and it always
I don't even know what the hell Minecraft is.
Dude, Dave.
Some research.
No, just ask the kids. Just ask them, because they'll tell you. They're like building little worlds. They're actually like two of them were playing next to each other, and they're communicating like they were building a world together. Like it was crazy terminology. I love to listen to it. You got to ask them.
Huh.
It's crazy.
I'll try to figure it out. Yeah, I got a cousin that's into it, so I'll have to ask him.
Kids are into it, man. They're learning how to create with like just create worlds in like virtual reality, which is trippy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's kind of like what we were all trying to, like we were all kind of capturing something, like we're filming with high 8 tape or fucking VHS and all that stuff, capturing like memories and moments and like editing and filming. It's weird that skaters are into that, like, and it's very free. I love that we skate. It's so sick.
Yeah.
How long have you been skating? How long?
I've been skating for, if you set aside like the butt skating year, probably like 30, 31 years.
Holy shit. Damn. And more than most, because you were sponsored and getting paid to skateboard for a lot of years, huh?
Yeah. No, I rode the whole wave. Like, that's what was kind of fun, because like me and Mark have always been tight, because when I was riding for Evil, I had a friend who knew Mark. He was a filmer.
Yeah.
Knew Mark, and was just like, he came to me, he's like, Dave, he's like, you gotta go skate with this dude Mark. And I was just like, like, when you're skating good, I was like, yeah, Mark, like, that's cool, like, it's awesome he rips, like, we'll go skate, So literally we go skate, and he's like pulling out his hair, like stressing on some trick, and I was just like, this dude's crazy, But then, like, we ended up getting along really good, and then that's when I switched over to Maple, because he was riding for Maple. So yeah, and then, you can kind of fast forward my pro career through his career, like,
yeah.
He went to A-Team right off the get-go, and I remember he asked me, and I told him no.
Yeah. Why?
But I was down with all the Maple dudes, I thought we had a good thing kind of going. And, like, it's all interesting, not to go back into the skate stuff or whatever.
No,
but,
please.
It's all
please.
interesting, like, how certain moments in your time, like, come back, some good or bad. Like, so when I was first out in San Diego, I went to the World Park a couple times with Marcel Johnson, who was skating for World. So, like, I went to the World Park, and that was the night I did, like, fake yali, switch 5-0, switch flip out, and, like,
gnarly.
Nollie, backspin 80s, switch nose grind, fakie. And, like, I did all the stuff that, like, basically nobody had done.
Yeah.
And then, like, Socrates, I don't know if you know who Socrates is, but he was like the world filmer back then. Ended up seeing it, and he showed Rodney.
Wow.
So they already kind of like knew who I was and all that stuff. So then when the whole A-Team thing kind of popped up, it was like, oh, Mayhew, like, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And then I told Mark no. I was like, you know, I'm kind of stoked on this Maple thing. Like, I never started a company thinking I wanted to like leave it.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't
yeah. Why
like,
would
oh,
you?
I'm gonna escape from Maple to like go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, so like I was hyped on Maple and like, yeah. So then eventually, like, you know, so when Mark left, I remember we had like a team meeting and I was like, we gotta start doing this and that, and like I told him I was straight with him. You know, I was like, Mark wanted me to go, and I said no. You know, and you know, like if we don't start shipping and like doing stuff different, you know, shaping things differently, then like I'm gonna dip, you know.
Yeah.
So then, you know, kind of gave it a year, and nothing really changed, and you know, so then me and Mark always stayed in contact, and it just kind of happened, you know.
Yeah. And then it was A-Team went on. Who was on the A-Team? It was Gershon Mosley, Rodney Mullen, Mark, you. Who am I missing?
So the original cast was, it was Mark, Rodney, Chet, and Gershon.
Chet.
Yeah, Chet Thomas.
Chet Thomas, sorry, thank you.
So then, then I came on. And then I remember, like, we did some, like, fuck, dude, those tours were so gnarly. Like, the shit that went down at those demos and, like, the level of skating was, like, super gnarly.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys were building, like, a super team at that time. That's as a kid watching.
Yeah, I mean, like, Rodney is just Rodney. Like, he just is crazy. And then, like, I don't know if you've ever seen Gershon skate.
Fucking amazing.
Like, in
Switch.
person, like,
yeah, so gnarly.
Dude, he was, like, he's just a beast. You know, Gershon was so gnarly, and Chet was gnarly, and obviously Mark was, and it was just, like, it was just gnarly demos, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, it was so surreal, because, like, the Osiris demos were gnarly, but it was all, like, hip-hopped out and, like, over the top, you know?
Yeah.
So then I'd go on, like, an 18 tour, and we'd be, you know, driving, listening to books on tape.
That's sick.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just, like, it was just so different, you know? And, like, you know, we'd drive all night and get to a hotel, and, you know, Rodney would, like, play the team manager kind of role, and he'd be up, like, checking us into the hotel, doing, like, these gnarly, like, mathematical theorems, and, like, just, like, you know, nerding out, just, like, crazy, and it was just such a interesting time, you know?
Yeah, it's wild.
But it was so, you know, Mark talked about it. I'd listen to his, you know, your podcast with him, and he was just kind of like, it got to the point where, like, nobody was feeling the A-Team stuff, you know, the rider-wise. Like,
yeah.
We kept getting boxes, and, like, I remember telling him, and he would say it too, it was just like, I don't even get, it just doesn't even, like, it's not what I'm about, you know?
Yeah.
Like, all these, like, conspiracy theory stuff. You know, it's just like, yeah, it just got really weird, and, like, that's kind of how Enjoy started, you know?
Yeah.
Because basically it was just like, you know, I don't want to wear this stuff, and, you know, he didn't want to wear it, and, you know, everybody else was kind of like, what the hell is this? And that's when, like, Chet went to Dark Star, and then we started Enjoy, you know?
Yeah, that's sick. It needed art direction, huh?
Pardon me?
It needed, A-Team needed, like, art direction, a different type of art direction, maybe.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It's weird to me, it's like, and I was always skeptical in the beginning, it was just like, A-Team, it sounds so, like, you know...
Is it a movie or show?
We're the best or something, you know? Yeah, it was a TV show.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like, Send the A-Team, you know? It was just like, it just seemed the opposite of, like, the way I was and most people on the team, you know?
Yeah, it makes sense. There should have been...
I was always more shy with my skating than, like, throwing it out there, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just a really weird time.
All right, I've
so...
got two questions. They might be off the top, but one is, are you any good at contests?
So that's how I came up skating was contests.
Yeah.
I mean, my generation, like, it was the sponsor me video if you had a video camera, or it was like contest,
Yeah.
So contest is kind of like how I came up.
And you
then,
did well. You skated well in them?
At one point, I did really well at contests. Like,
nice.
For some reason, I never had, like, any jitters, that bad or anything. But, like, once you step it up to the pro level, I remember my first Tampa Pro contest was the first year they did it. I think it was, like, 95 or something. And, like, going up the quarter pipe, and, like, it was, like, freaking, like, Mike Carroll and Costin are up there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, dudes that I was just, like...
Fuck.
Everybody loves those dudes, like they just rip. And they're just like, this is just crazy, So I remember I did my run, and like, I didn't end up placing. It was funny because I totally remember this Solomon, a guy came over to me and was just like, he's like, dude, like, and it's funny because I didn't feel bummed at all. Like I felt like good and I was having fun. And he was just like, don't be bummed. Like you killed it, man. You're like, like you're on just a different level. Because like I was doing more like. Trying more techie stuff, I guess,
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. Like, it was just weird. And, yeah, and then from that moment on, like, contest just kind of took a, it was always, like, I'd rather go film and, like, skate or go on tour,
Yeah.
It wasn't like I want to, like, go to a contest, but everybody had to go to contests.
Yeah.
But for me, the whole contests were, like, the day before, the practice, and the dudes at 4-1 would be out there filming, and you'd get tricks like in the 4-1 contest section, so it almost looked better than like placing in the contest.
Yeah, because they were filming like they were creating like a vision of the contest, which is that's the best. That is the best.
Yeah, exactly. So like it was cooler to have those tricks rather than like place third at the contest.
Yeah.
For me, like I'd rather have like two dope tricks like in the 4-1 section versus like placing and getting a couple $100
at
the contest,
Did you ever get nervous? Were you ever nervous?
I did. Once it was on that different level, I did get nervous.
Yeah.
I'd always try to make like my first trick easy. You know what I mean? Just to like, okay, I landed something. Like, so then if I'd follow my first trick, I'd be like, fuck, like what the hell's happening?
Abort, kid.
Yeah, exactly. Can I just vanish? No, I just got to the point where, like, and I don't know if you know this, but like, I had a pretty bad ankle injury.
I actually, I read that.
Right when I got on Maple, I came back home and we were filming. And I was filming Aaron, and like I was always good at like switch ollie and shit. So like I switch ollied this like 7-stair handrail, and I like switch ollied this 8-stair handrail, and then there's this 11-stair handrail. I was like, let's go,
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because I used to like to jump down shit. So then like I tried it a couple times, and just one time, I mean this is like a long 11 stairs, so like I was going full speed, and I landed. Instead of like, turning your body and like actually like landing like in a running position, I landed as if my board was kind of underneath me.
Yeah.
And I rolled my ankle so far that the bone hit the ground and split like my skin.
Ooh.
So basically, I tore like the ligaments and tendons, and I didn't break anything.
Gnarly.
But like instantly, I like reached down to my foot and I pulled my hand out and there's just blood. I remember Aaron or Pete or somebody like pushed my head back,
Dude.
So like I couldn't see it and stuff, and like, but that pretty much like it. I mean, to this day it hurts, like, because it's funny. I can pick up on this. Like if I go back and watch my footage, like I went from like landing solid like 2 feet to like a tripod.
Ooh. Ooh.
So like I land, my left foot is like good, and then. Like especially if you like my troubleshooter's part or like whatever, like if you look at some of the stuff, like I land with my right foot like on the ball of my foot.
Yeah.
Because if I squat, what happens is if I squat, my heel raises off the ground.
Whoa, crazy.
So jumping down stairs or like anything, like you squat. So like I used to love jumping down shit, and then like once you like, I could flip my board, land on it. But I just could never like roll away because my squat, I'd like tripod and I'd like wobble and I'd fall,
Yeah, you're not like fluid where you
So-
can bend it smoothly and not have that
But
resistance.
yeah, and like, I did physical therapy, I got ankle surgery, and like it just never healed,
Yeah.
So like my maple part, that was like when I just kind of started skating again,
Whoa, so gnarly.
So like I was in like constant ankle pain, but like still like managed to push out. Like it wasn't my favorite part, but I pushed out a part,
Yeah, gnarly.
So yeah, I mean that definitely like, cause growing up like I was technical, but I'd still like Tyrone loved to jump down shit, so like I'd jump down stuff,
Hell yeah, get you hyped.
then-
He'll get you real hyped, I bet. It's probably fun to skate with.
And, like, I remember like when I just moved out to San Diego, there's the sports arena, which is the famous double set,
Yeah, I know that one.
So my favorite like tricks down stuff was like nollie flips and switchbacks 180s.
Gnarly.
So I remember like I had to shoot an evil ad, and I was like, oh, like I want to go switchbacks 180s double set, and the filmer or photographer at the time was just like, oh, like nobody's done that, even gone switch or like anything off that, and I was just like, well, let's go, like let's go. So like literally roll up there, and like it's pretty long,
Yeah.
And to this day, I never ollied it. Like I went straight switchbacks 180.
Good idea.
I switched back 180 and I landed like 3 feet after it or something.
Gnarly.
I just like charged it and like almost stuck it, and he was like, okay. And then like 3 tries later, like landed it, and he was just like, shit, all right.
He's not playing around.
Like, yeah, like there's always, at that point I was that new kid kind of coming up,
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I mean it's like nowadays like, if Nigel or something's like, oh, I'm going to go nose grind this 30-0 handrail, you're like, yeah, right. And then he goes and does it, So it's just kind of like...
Yeah, it's a good feeling. I like those feelings when those moments line up, because I've been the guy who's like been like, yeah, meet me here, drive an hour, I'll drive an hour, and then shoot these photos when you're using like the film, and it's like you don't land the trick, and they're just wasted all.
I mean, kids don't even have a clue. Like, back in our day, like when you had a sequence in a magazine, it was like sick.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Like, that dude did it in a sequence.
Yeah, in a certain amount of time, because it was counting. Everyone mattered.
Yeah, and it's like, it's funny too, because Ed Dominic, I don't know if you know who Ed Dominic is, but like, so he was like the team dude for Maple.
Nice.
So pretty much like his first going out and shooting skate pictures was with me.
Sick.
So I think like I went and like nollie flipped over that chain into the bank.
Fuck yeah.
And like did a couple other things, and I remember called me the next day. He's like, none of them turned out, man. And it was just like, all right, So like, but yeah, I mean, you sit there like for a sequence, it's like roll after roll after roll, and like as it goes on, you're just like more and more depressed. Like I'm wasting all this film, and it's just like, what the hell's going on?
You get super hard on yourself because you're like, there's a clock ticking, you're wasting. I know that feeling, dude.
Yeah. So that was cool, because then Big Brother came out and they take video grabs.
Nice, breaking the
and
rules.
And that kind of changed the game of like sequences,
Yeah.
It just totally changed, and obviously with the digital format, like you can try a trick a billion times,
Yeah, it doesn't now. It's
just delete it, like
all that stress and worry. Why couldn't they have it back then? That would have been beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
You're welcome.
That would have been awesome.
Let's go. Cool, man. Well, I think we covered it all, dude. Do you have any questions?
No, man, not really.
Oh, actually,
I mean, I guess one thing I wanted to tell you was like, so for our shop, we make shop videos and all this shit, and like, so what I'm doing is I'm taking like my best stuff from the shop video and I'm piecing it all together into like a 3-minute part or something like that, and get it posted up somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I want to see it for sure.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be pretty sick. I mean, I still love to skate, and I don't get the time to like do it all, but there's still some fun stuff in it,
Yeah, I'm hyped that you were able to take time to capture some stuff and put it into a collection to put out, dude. That's the coolest shit. Like, I don't care. It's just cool to see people like do that and share. It's awesome.
I mean, that's like it's funny because like since initially, like, what had happened was, like, Aaron Snyder's one of the judges at Street League.
Nice.
So they did Street League in Chicago, and I went and met him. And then we just hung out, and then I was sitting there watching, and then, like, Steve Barrow walked by, and I'd known Steve, like, from back at the rotation station days.
Soccer days.
Like, yeah, I was like, what up, man? And we were just talking. He's like, oh, you're still skating? I was like, yeah, we had the shop, and, this and that. And he just asked for any footage. I was like, yeah, man. He's like, oh, you should, like, piece it together and, like, get it to me. And I was like, kind of like, all right, And my thought at that time was, like, promote the shop.
Yeah.
And then the whole shop thing went down. So then I still had my homie editing it. So, like, now I'm just like, I'm just going to put it out for fun.
Yeah. Get it out there.
Promoting anything is just, like, just for fun.
Hell yeah.
And I've seen a couple other people, like, post up some, like, my generation people, like, post up parts just for fun, It's not like they're cutting edge, like, gnarly parts or anything, but to me, like, I'd be super hyped if people, like, put together, it could be, like, 30 seconds or a minute or 2 minutes, but, like, people of my generation, like, still skating,
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I just think it'd be sick,
Fuck yeah. I like that's why I like the podcast, because the podcast is, like, I can have people go through and talk about, like, how their time they invested in the skateboarding and skateboarding culture. Like, it's so sick, like, seriously, like, I watched your video parts and I watched all you guys' video parts, and it inspired me to, like, really want to be part of skating, like, on a serious level. Like, I really, like, I fell in love with skating, and it saved my life. It literally gave me something to, like, put my time and effort into and not stress and worry. And, like, I've met everyone from skateboarding. But it's because all that videos, all the culture, you guys made it look so sick. Sorry, I'm fanning out.
That's what's, like, that's what's rad about being full circle, Like, now you're doing what you're doing, promoting your stuff, and, like, kids are hyped, and, fast forward 10 years from now, some kid might be like, oh, hey, man, like, I saw your shit, and, like, I was hyped, and you got me skating, and it's just...
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's cool,
Yeah, skating is, like, the cool thing about skating is it seems like it's for everyone, too. There's, like, so many different styles and expressions of people out there that skateboard, especially nowadays, and everyone's involved in skating. It's so sick. I'm always tripping out because I'm, like, people argue about the politics of it all and stuff, but, like, I just trip out because as a little kid, I was like, I just wish everyone knew how awesome skating is. And then I look around and everyone thinks skateboarding's awesome, and I'm like, this is it, This is it. Like, I'm happy.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is awesome, I mean, when you're in the captain's chair and you get to pick what tricks you're trying and what you're doing it up or down or across or whatever, like, it's your personal adventure,
Yeah, fuck yeah. That's awesome.
And you can, take it to the extreme, or you can just cruise down a hill, and I have just as much fun doing either,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. My lady started skateboarding recently a little bit. She just goes to, like, learn how to push, because we're going down to Surf Expo in a couple days. We're gonna go down there, and my buddy Zoe, she's a little girl, but she works with this organization called Girl Riders organization, and she does, like, cool skate events. And my lady was like, yeah, I want to skate with Zoe, so she started coming to the skate park and started learning how to push and stuff. It's been pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, that's what was kind of the coolest thing moving back here, was just, like, I felt like I could skate and kind of not be judged,
Yeah.
Like, and just kind of feel free again and not be like, Dave's not doing that, or he needs to do this trick, or, it was just like, I can just skate and, like, skate with the kids and have fun,
Yeah. Sick. So. That's cool, man. Is there anything... Yeah, are you on Instagram?
Yeah.
What's your Instagram? Just your name?
Yeah, it's like David R. Mayhew, I think.
Do you use Twitter or Facebook?
I have Facebook, but I'm definitely leaning more towards Instagram. I'll probably delete my Facebook coming up here pretty soon. I don't do Twitter or anything. I don't know. It's such a weird... Now that I have kids, it's such a weird, like... It's a weird thing, Like, what you post on Facebook, I think it never goes away.
Yeah, it's like a trace. Like
you know what I'm saying? Unless you, like, literally call them and like delete your page or anything like that. But it's like, I don't know, it's just pretty gnarly because like now I have kids that'll go back and like can look at my life, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you can like scroll and see what people have posted and like because now I have like cousins and stuff that are on, or nieces and nephews that are on Instagram and this and that, you know. So it's like it's kind of wild because then you got to kind of watch yourself, you know, like what you're posting and like
imagine
portraying and stuff like that.
Imagine during the Osiris heydays. Imagine what would have been on Instagram. Oh my god!
You know?
Oh my god!
Well, I mean, we had one at the end of one of the tours we did. Like we were in Vegas, and I think they spent like $10,000 at the bar. Like people are swimming with just fucking bottles of champagne and stuff. Like it was just ridiculous, man. It was like. You know, that time in skateboarding, like, you know, there's just money, you know, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of like anything I want to shout out, like, you know, from a current standpoint, I'm vegan now. I've been vegan for like 9 years.
Nice.
And like,
what was the?
What's up?
What was the reasoning? Like, what was the tipping point to go to decide to go vegan?
So my dad, growing up, was vegetarian.
Nice.
And he, you know, we kind of moved around. At one point, we lived in Texas, and he did some agricultural kind of stuff, and just, you know, got really kind of feared off of meat and stuff. So basically, like, you know, growing up, you know, it wasn't unheard of to not have meat at a meal or something, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'd go on tour with people, and like, you know, Frank Harada, one of the dudes I went with earlier, was like vegan, you know, and then a couple other dudes were vegan. We'd always have like super in-depth conversations, but like for some reason there was never like a tipping point of like why to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Like I couldn't connect the dots, I guess. So then my wife grew up outside of Madison, and you know, her family always had like a cow or something that they'd raise and then, you know, get the milk from, and then all of a sudden the cow would be gone, and she'd just be like, well, what happened to, you know, Johnny the cow? So she's been vegetarian for eons, you know.
Johnny's in greener pastures, honey.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so like, so then, you know, we've been vegan now, I think, for like 8 or 9 years.
Damn, sick.
Yeah, I just ended up hearing this person on the radio talk and, like, just trying to overall be a more compassionate person, you know? Like, you know, definitely with animals, but just with people in general, you know? Like, it's a pretty gnarly world we live in, and tomorrow is going to be... Is it tomorrow? Maybe tomorrow. Or Saturday, I don't know.
The
Whenever
inauguration?
Trump gets in, like, yeah, you know, it's just going to be a gnarly place, and there's so much hatred and, like, you know, stuff going on, so, like... You know, for me, it was like a health kind of thing, but also a compassion kind of thing, you know, like treating people right, treating animals right, and like eating healthy, you know?
Yeah, you have and you found a way with being a vegan to be healthy and feel strong and happy and healthy?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Dude, honestly, it's crazy because, like, I didn't, you know, like I said, there's like a tipping point or like a point where you just kind of clicks, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, when it clicked for me and we started, you know, eating vegan, like, I literally, like, I think I lost, like, 10 pounds and, like, just felt better and, like, leaner and, like, you know, not to say I'm old, but, like, dudes my age all have, like, bellies and, like, you're just unhealthy, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So to me, it's just, like, I just want to live, like, a healthy lifestyle and, like, eat right and, you know, like, that's something, if I ever have a stage to, like, let people know about, this is something that, like, I take passionately, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I
mean, it's, you know, I just ask people to watch, you know, if they're trying to be more compassionate or something, watch, like, PETA did a short thing called Meet Your Meat.
Meet Your Meat?
Yeah, or you can watch, Earthlings is, like, another documentary.
Nice.
But just like the way that, you know, the slaughtering of animals and, you know, the way that they're treated and stuff. It's just
Yeah.
pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to be like a compassionate person, like who can have a dog or a cat and be cool with that, and then go like slaughter a cow and just have a hamburger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's at a point where you can connect the dots, is what I'm saying. It's
yeah. They have there's like a system set up for it to be to seem like disconnected from the food. That's how that happens. It's tough.
that's why a hamburger is not called a cow.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
It's literally called a hamburger.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, it should be called a cow.
Yeah.
Cow burger or something. Like, and it's just gnarly. Like the whole thing kind of like cascades into like, whether you're talking like even like something as simple as like makeup.
Yeah.
So, like makeup every girl wears, but what most people don't know is it comes from like slaughtered animals.
Yeah.
So basically, like a lot of the makeup is made from like roadkill.
Yeah.
They would pick up the animals and basically take to these companies and they turn it into makeup, and that's what you put on your face. It's pretty gnarly. Like, to me, it's pretty gnarly. Like,
when you say it like that.
The more I started learning about it, I'm like, this is disgusting. And then,
well, that's why I don't wear it. That's why.
Well,
exactly why I was making a stand. There you
go. But no, I mean, like I said, having, if there's people that are like interested in it or anything, I'd just say do some research and like, maybe it's something that might click to people, maybe not. People might laugh at it, but
that's all right.
I definitely feel a million times better doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, my lady's got super into her nutrition and her diet and like exercising, and she's done all these competitions for fitness and nutrition, and like she's super into it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm learning because I eat meat. Like I don't like I know all this and I still just eat. I try to consume.
That's what I'm saying. Like I did too. Like I had these talks with people, and I just was like, all right. Screw you, I'm going to go get my hamburger. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just when if you do turn vegan or whatever, you make your choices, but, like, there'll be a point in time where it just, like, kind of clicks,
Yeah. The only thing I've heard opposed, the only thing I've heard opposed to being a vegan is, like, that it might be you can't get everything you need through the diet. That's why I was asking. I was like, you found a way and you feel healthy and strong and, like...
So the only thing being vegan that you really need to supplement is B12.
Okay.
The vitamin B12, which is basically a bacteria. This is where it gets gross. So a cow doesn't have B12, but when a cow is slaughtered, the bacteria grows, which is B12.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So like you don't. So as a vegan, not eating meat, you're not getting the B12.
Yeah, but you need B12.
Yeah, and the animals, it's a bacteria, so they can grow a vegan B12,
Yeah.
Basically, like... So, the next thing that really grossed me out is, like, milk, If you start thinking about a cow, so basically, like, we're the only creature on Earth that drinks the cow from another animal. Or the milk from another animal. And we're the only species on Earth that drinks milk after being a baby or an infant.
Yeah, like continues to drink it?
Like, yeah, like milk is just like a secretion. Like if you start thinking about what milk is, it's like a secretion, and the only way they can produce as much milk as they can is that they constantly impregnate these cows.
Yeah.
So basically a cow... Boom, they impregnate a cow, gives birth, they milk it, they take the baby away, they milk the cow, boom, make it pregnant again.
Yeah.
Take the baby again, milk the cow, boom, do it again, and then these cows get taken to slaughter.
Yeah, they're like using it as
that's literally their life.
It's like a machine producing meat and milk.
Yeah.
And cheese.
It's just gnarly. But then if you start doing the research, like casing in the cheese and the milk is like been linked to like basically like one of the main things that causes cancer.
Yeah, sketchy.
So it's like when you start doing your research and all this stuff, like the information is out there, but the meat lobbyists and the dairy lobbyists, I mean, it's huge, like, entities that you're going up against, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I know in Wisconsin here, they're just trying to pass some law that, so if you see like a soy milk or an almond milk, they're trying to pass a law that it can't say milk. You know?
Yeah.
It can just be, it would have to be soy something or almond something, you know?
Yeah. And why are they trying to do that?
Because milk sales are like plummeting.
Oh, okay.
They're like more and more people, because naturally most people are lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your body adjusts and learns to live with lactose, you know? So more and more people are switching to like a non-dairy milk and they feel better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's something that I'm passionate about. Like I said, like if people are interested in it, they can do a little research. And for me, you know, just watching one of those films, you know, it's just how we treat the animals is pretty gnarly, you know?
Fuck yeah. Brutal. So brutal.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a human being that can watch Earthlings and not, like, be in tears, then something's wrong, you know? Like...
Are there like people that protest farms? Are you like near any of those farms and stuff like that? Because you're in the...
I'm not. So the only thing we've really done, like as far as community based, is like my wife really worked and I helped out on doing the Madison Vegan Fest.
Nice.
So we started that, you know, I think like 6 years ago. Which just keeps getting bigger and bigger. You know, we've had to switch venues and stuff, and it's just growing and growing. So
that's sick.
You know, I think more and more people are becoming aware that like McDonald's and, you know, Burger King is just not the right way to live, you know?
Yeah.
So.
That's cool. 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's a gnarly thing. You know, my wife, she's a nurse practitioner, and she understands, like, basically how the body works and how it processes things and all this stuff. So she's a little bit more in tune with, like, from a scientific standpoint, what your body needs and all that stuff. So
must be nice to have her there.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's great. It's just funny because when you start thinking of things like fish, you know, everybody say, like, you know, omega-3 you get from fish, you know, fish oil, and there's like this huge push for fish oil, but it's like fish don't have omega-3, they get it from seaweed. You know what I mean? It's just funny. And it's like cows don't have calcium, they get it from grass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, so you start like connecting the dots, it's like, you know, it's just weird, like how misstrued like the public has been as far as like what you're eating and why you're eating it, you know?
Yeah. It's crazy when something like, when our basic needs or people are making money off of them, like, when other people make money off your basic needs, that's like terrifying, you know? It's like you should make money off your needs, or like you should be able to make a living to cover your basic needs, which is like diet and like community and family and like your own time. Like that's the big one for me, is like people own your time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No,
that's for sure.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. No, I mean for me it's more of like also too is like, and I think I want to start doing this in the skate world too, is like your dollar is your vote, you know?
Yeah.
And like that's kind of why, like, I met Kelly Hart like a year ago, and he was super cool, and he was just like hyped on me as a skater and all this stuff, and like, you know, I hit him up. I was like, at the time, the Nike dudes were giving me shit, you know. It just kind of hit me. I was just like, man, like our dollar is our vote, like what we wear is a vote, and like where we spend our money, you know. And I was just like, Nike just pretty much like crushed my, you know, skate shop, you know?
Yeah, fuck you,
like,
right?
In a sense, you know? So it's just like, okay, like, you know, where am I going to go? You know, who am I going to try to help? So I'm definitely about, like, these, you know, like, skate companies trying to make a push back and, like, take over,
yeah,
you know, more of the skateboarding world, get it back, you know?
Yeah, the ones that live
and
it.
I'm not saying S or Soul Tech is perfect. I mean, they've done me wrong a little bit, and I feel like other people, but that's kind of they support skaters and what people are doing, so.
And it's a growing process, Like it's a growing process. A brand is a growing process,
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
see like less and less people wearing Nikes. At the skate park, which is kind of cool in a sense that people are maybe becoming a little bit more aware of what's going on.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like I said, like not to go back to it, but the Ed Lego interview, like like it was just pretty gnarly, man. Like they've put many shops out of business,
Yeah,
which is a complete opposite of what a company should be doing,
yeah. Brutal, man.
So man, I mean, you just gotta take back to veganism. Like we pay with our dollars of where we spend our money,
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Crazy.
so yeah, man.
And are you do you for your vegan event 6 years?
Mm-hmm.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Do you use social media to promote it?
Yeah, my wife and I have kind of stepped back from it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We have the 2 kids now. And it's just like it's just time,
Yeah.
But basically, we also found out too that there's just like I don't know if it's kind of comparable like to religion, but there's people that are religious and there's people that push their religion on you,
Yeah.
And then there's people that are vegan. There's people who push it on you.
Yeah.
Like almost make you feel bad or like why you're choosing to eat what you're eating.
Yeah, like judge you instead of just like
So like we found like even being vegans, like we were being judged, like because I skate in leather shoes.
Yeah.
Because I tried to skate in canvas shoes and like I'll blow those out in like a session.
Yeah.
It's to me it's like okay I can skate a summer of like 40 different pairs of canvas shoes or I could wear 1 pair of leather shoes.
Yeah.
So it's like to me it's more like okay this is my one thing that I kind of let slide.
Yeah. But then but people hold you to like because they're like oh but you're a vegan. It's like yeah but I've reduced some of my intake.
I'm trying to do.
I'm not perfect.
Trying to help out,
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know this too, like in terms of like global warming and like greenhouse gases, and so basically like the meat industry, so the cows basically, and the whole factory farming, they create more carbon emissions and greenhouse emissions than cars, trains, planes, anything combined.
Gnarly.
Like so if you're on that health kick or like if you're on a stance for global warming or whatever, like you gotta do some research and figure out like what's really happening,
Yeah.
and that there's all kinds of I don't know, it just all to me it all just kind of boils in compassion, and compassion for the earth and the animals, and like we have a dog and it's like I couldn't even imagine my dog being hurt or mistreated because they're like I don't know if you have any pets, but like they're little like they're like your sidekicks,
Elwood and Emma are my best friends.
So picture pigs are like ridiculously smart.
I've heard, and dolphins too.
Yeah, and it's like pigs get slaughtered on a daily, millions and millions of pigs get slaughtered, and it's like they all have feelings, they all have a nervous system, and they all like have social, living standards, like
equal or to more than a dog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, above a dog, I think.
Yeah.
But then, like, once again, it's just like taking a pig, slaughtering it, and calling it bacon makes it okay.
Yeah.
They separate you from the animal.
Yeah, and bacon's delicious, so that's like the trick.
But, yeah, so that's the thing is like. But then if you watch, you should go watch one of those movies.
I wrote them down. Earthlings or
Yeah.
Meet Your Meat, right?
Yeah, Meet Your Meat is like an old PETA one. It's just, I think it's like 15 or 20 minutes long.
I'd like to just see that because it's going to be like old school looking, filmed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
And then, the Earthlings, I actually honestly haven't seen because I've seen enough, but I've heard it's just gnarly.
Oh, like the whole thing, like stay through?
Yeah.
Yeah, gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like pretty gnarly. Which for me, like I've already made my decision. I don't need to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of gnarly. So.
Oh, you know what?
Man.
I just switch it up if you still have a little more time, dude.
No, I'm chilling.
Did you have people hate on you, like in skating, your decisions, and like you kind of talked about it before, but like, do you come up against the resistance for your opinions and ideas and stuff?
I think the most resistance I ever got was like honestly, for me it was just weird. So if you when I step back and look at my career and kind of critique it, it was like I was skating my best when I was like least known and just kind of coming up on the scene, you know.
Nice, you're hungry.
And then like as I, then I hurt my ankle and then I got more and more popular and then the shoe got popular. So it was like I feel like my skating decreased, but like
your legacy, your fame. I'll say it for you. I'll say it.
You want to call it, like, whatever you want to call it is going up, you know.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I think talking to Mark one time, I was just like, dude, like my mind is there. I want to be creative, but like my foot just fucking hurts, you know. Yeah. And I just never felt like I was skating on that level where I should be. So I think at some point it got weird because I feel like, with the popularity of the shoe. And it's funny because, like, I've talked to several people, and they're just like, every single person made fun of it wanted it to be their shoe.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just ironic when people make fun of it. It's just like, okay, what's the underlying thing? But, like, it's just weird. Like, because then I felt like at some point I was kind of getting, not even like hated on, but just I wasn't to the level I wanted to be. So maybe I kind of like made it up that people were hating. Yeah. Just because I wasn't where I wanted to be, but like my career kept like going upwards. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to explain.
No, it makes sense. It's like because you were dealing with your own issues with an injury, and like in this situation you're in, and it's growing bigger and bigger, and you can't skate. You're injured, basically. You're trying to recover still. And then you have everyone around you who would love to have that shoe and the money that comes.
It was really awkward, like, place, you know?
Yeah. That's a gnarly... Those some tough seas to navigate.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know if, like... I mean, there's obviously... People poke fun at the D3 just for, like, fun and, like, whatever. But, like... like I said, maybe some of it I took personally because, like, it was my shoe that I designed, and, like, like, I don't know. It's such a weird thing. Like, I don't even know. Yeah.
Well, fuck, man. You crush it. Thank you so much, Dave. This was epic, dude. I needed a good talk, so I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. And definitely be on the lookout. I'm going to drop my little part sometime.
I'll be posting. I'll repost it and share it.
Soon.
Yeah, I'll share and repost, and wherever you drop it, let me know. I'll make sure.
Yeah. I've been talking to Mike Burnett at Thrasher, so maybe it'll pop up at Thrasher. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, hell yeah. Burn Dog. Hook it up. I'm going to text him and say, do this shit. Let's get it. He's the man.
I'm waiting to get the edit. Like, my homie is editing it. He had, like, a good friend pass away, so he's just, like, been kind of putting it on the back burner. Yeah. And I keep telling him, like, there's no rush. Like, it's what it is, it is what it is, it doesn't even matter. Yeah. So, it'll pop out.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate everything.
Yeah, man. Well, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you.
I've seen your parts. Keep ripping and doing what you're doing, and someday some little kid will be interviewing you, and you'll be me. It'll just be flipped,
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. And actually, I want to go through the Midwest with my skateboard team, so maybe we'll go through your area and skate some parks or something when we get the chance.
Yeah, well, you got the digits. Hit me up and let me know.
Yeah, we'll come.
Everybody comes through here, man. Like, there's been a lot of, like, kind of famous stuff, like... There's a Tommy Sandoval ad. He's like lip sliding this 21 stair handrail. That was in Madison.
Whoa, gnarly.
And then Jamie Foy just had couple tricks in Madison and his party, just his mystery or Death Wish part.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
No, there's some shit here.
Yeah, we'll come through, dude. We're always excited to check out new lands. So once we figure it out and get the van and everything, we'll roll through, man.
There you go, man. Keep doing what you're doing.